Street gospel, light up the tempo. Sword swing, killer live from the ghetto. The hood messenger, let them know hell's close. Black burial, the devil in a black cloak.
Yo, what is up? Welcome to the Street Gospel Podcast. I'm your host, Dave One. And this is episode number... Yo, Cam, what episode is this? Episode number 33. So this episode might sound a little different because we're recording live at Elevate Con 21. Yo. So I just want to thank everybody for checking out the podcast. We are on every major podcast platform. So wherever you listen to podcasts, we're on there, Street Gospel Podcast. And we're also on YouTube at Street Gospel TV. So check us out. But I know we're going to get to what everybody's been waiting for, right? Right? All right, so we got a little video we want to play. Let you do a little introduction for our guest here. So check out this video. That white boy's nice. So, I got to play a little banger. Every time I introduce one of our guests on the Street Gospel Podcast, got to play a little music. So I did a little music here. It ain't Khaled, but it's pretty close to DJ Khaled, you know what I mean? But our guest is a believer. He's an athlete. He's a social media influencer. This dude has over 3 million followers on Instagram. That's crazy. The craziest stat from this guest is he has 400 million views on YouTube. Some of you get happy over 10 views of your little post, you know what I mean? This dude is a hooper. Obviously, he's breaking ankles, right? He's a believer. He loves God. Without further ado, I want everybody in the house to give it up for the Professor. Right here. Yo.
What's on?
Up, man? Go ahead and put on those headphones right there.
Yes, sir.
We're good. I know we might mess up the fade. How many of you guys like Professor's fade, man? When I called him the other day, and he was like, I texted him first, and I was like, hey, Professor, let me give you a call about this time. He goes, nah, man, can you call me after this time? Because I got to go get my haircut.
Oh, yeah,
and I know he don't play with his haircut, so I was like, I'll call you after that time. Well, welcome, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much, man. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, man. We appreciate you coming out, and glad to have you, man. It's awesome. So everybody's seen you as the Professor. you know, this big global hooper sensation, right? But I wanted to know, were you always just a kid that had game? I mean, and when did it start?
Yeah, I was always known as like a skilled basketball player even since I was little, but it was more about getting the opportunity.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I didn't always get the opportunity, you know. 4th grade, my dad actually got me a skills trainer. And mind you, this is in the 90s, so this is like very new. I know my skills trainer was actually probably the first skills trainer in Oregon.
Okay.
So one of the first to even do it. And
so skills training is it like extra, right? It's not just like you got somebody like really training you.
Yeah, exactly. So he basically he first taught me the in and out, then he taught me the in and out crossover, and then he taught me the Iverson crossover. And mind you, I'm tiny. I might be able to run into this table, but I could cross grown men with the Iverson crossover. And so that was my first wave of like being known as like, oh, this small kid with mad game with handles.
Right.
So there's that. But then I grew up in Oregon, so the style of basketball is very like white people basketball. You know, it's very like Princeton offense.
Yeah, set picks.
Yes.
You know, nobody's crossing really, right? That's what I was going to ask you too. In Oregon, there's not that many ballers. I shouldn't say there's not that many ballers.
There's not.
You don't hear like popular ballers coming out of Oregon. You hear them coming out of the New York, the Rucker, Venice, you know, LA, but you never hear them really coming out Oregon.
There's some.
Okay.
There's some, you know, shout out to like Kevin Love or like
K-Love, yeah. Cool.
You know, Terrell Brandon, there, you know, Damon Stoudemire. There was a lot of great players back, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I didn't fit the mold, you know what I mean, coming up. And then like I even was like cut from the varsity team as a junior. Like I played on the JV team when I was a junior, and then I actually had to transfer schools to get an opportunity to get decent playing time on the varsity team.
Okay.
And then even had a great year at that school, but then got no college offers. Like I got second team all state at this small private school.
Okay, let me hold you right there.
Okay,
so,
right.
The Professor, 400 million views, right? Biggest.
1 billion actually.
A billion. I'm sorry.
That was for the series.
That was old information.
It's all good.
A billion. You realize a billion? I mean, that's as many people in China right now. But you balling. You weren't always a baller though. It was a long road. All we see is, you know, the success. But there is a long road. You got cut. You had to work on your game. You weren't the biggest dude, the baddest dude.
No.
But you continued to work on your game.
Yeah, the love was always there. The love of the game. So regardless if I got cut from an AAU team, or regardless of getting cut from the varsity team, or not getting any college looks, and even like my junior college, I played 1 year. I played at community college. I only played like 3 minutes a game, and if the game was close, I wouldn't even go in the game. So
one of those.
So the love never left, regardless, because it was all I knew. It was like that was my mainstay, you know, for having fun.
Right.
That was my social circles. Only basketball.
Let me ask you this. So, okay, I used to hoop back in the day, believe it or not. All right, so I played at some rough parks, right?
Okay.
Being a small white dude, if you cross over some big dude, that it doesn't go over well, man. Like you're looking for a fight, like almost. Like you cross over a dude, and just out of spite, he's gonna foul you or smack you upside the head, and then let's be honest, you being white, that even makes it worse.
Yeah. Well,
you can laugh, everybody, okay?
No, but I mean, it's so true, but it's funny because that's like my main marketability. You know what I mean? I like break that whole norm, that whole stereotype or whatever, and I actually love it because it's available and yeah, it's always out of the norm. So I love like going to the hood and like just you know what I mean? Just doing something that they wouldn't think I would do, you know?
I mean, but that's the thing though about basketball, because if you have game, that's the thing about sports in general. If you have game, like it doesn't really matter white, black, brown. Like the Professor has game or Grayson has game. We're picking him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I played on teams and it was all brothers, me, and it's just like, well, I feel my role. But there's a camaraderie in sports, in basketball in particular, where if you got game or you're a good asset to the team, they got you, right?
Totally. It's funny. It almost reminds me of like, that's how I always came up. I always just didn't look like a hooper and broke the stereotype. Like we recently did a video, Nerd in the Hood. You know,
Nerd
playing exposes hoopers in the hood. And the funny thing is, people don't realize, like, I am nerd basketball. Like, most of my life, like, I didn't wear glasses and all that, but, like, that was kind of like my life, like, for real. Right. So, like, doing that was very organic.
Yeah. Did you seek out parks? Like, were you in Oregon or wherever, and then it's like, I'm going to that park, and people will tell you, don't go to that park?
Yeah. Well, where I grew up in a small town. You know, Salem, Oregon only has 150,000 people.
Oh, wow.
My hometown, Kaiser, Oregon, only has 40,000 people.
Okay.
So there was one street ball. There was one hood and one street ball court.
I think right here in this area, there's probably like 40,000 in 2 blocks.
Exactly. So there was only one spot to go to, and like my parents didn't love it that I went there, especially when I was like a freshman in high school. As I got older, like whatever. But yeah, so it happened.
And did you ever? This is a question I have. Did you ever really break anybody's ankle?
Oh,
you know, because that's like a term, right? Broke ankles. Everybody know that, right? You got juked. But did you ever break anybody's ankle where they're just like they limped off the court and you're just like you never seen them again?
One dude had to get ice. He was like laid up. I don't know if he fractured his ankle or not. But then even just like a couple weeks ago, like some dude like turned his ankle like really hard. But as far as like a break, that's rare. No, I don't think so.
So let me ask you this, man. The college thing doesn't work out. You know, you struggle through high school to get some playing time. You go to college. You don't really get any offers, and then you go to a small community college, which for a hooper, I mean, that's kind of like bottom of the barrel, right?
It's bottom barrel. I was lucky to play community college. The funny thing is, first off, my parents put me in a Christian school my senior year, and I didn't grow up in a Christian home, so like they really just did it for a better opportunity for basketball. There's only 300 kids in the entire school.
Okay. So
I started varsity, I got second team All-State. I was like one vote away from MVP. So I'm thinking like we're on the up and up. The college coach is gonna come calling, but I was young. I didn't realize how it worked. Like they ain't even looking at those schools. Those small. I was a 2A school.
Okay.
5A is the biggest.
Yeah.
So they ain't even considering that for college basketball. So I didn't get any looks. I got cut from 3 community colleges. Like I went and just like tried out, like played open gym. One of them I like didn't even miss a shot. We won 3 or 4 games in a row. I literally didn't miss a shot. I'm like, oh, this is meant to be, you know?
Yeah.
And then they didn't believe that I could actually match up defensively because I actually looked so young and I looked like so not a hooper, and I was only like 5'5" or 5'6" at the time. So
5'6"? Really?
Yeah, I grew after late. So they didn't think I could match up defensively, and like I don't blame them. Like it would have been hard to trust me. Like I literally looked like I was 12 years old.
Right.
So look.
I mean, I saw some of the videos. I mean, there's some that you look really young and you were like 17, 18 already, right?
Yeah. So my dad was selling jewelry to the head coach in my hometown. I didn't even want to go to that school because I wanted to leave my hometown. I wanted to get out of the house. But he persuaded him to give me a shot. He told him I had a passion for the game. He's like, he's really got some skill. You got to look at him. So he let me.
And on the side, he goes, I'll give you a really good deal on this ring right here.
Probably. I'm sure that was in the negotiation. I don't know.
Please.
But so this guy was nice enough to like give me a look, and I think it's probably just because like he kept going back to the jewelry store. Probably was giving discounts.
Yeah, right.
So
dude had like a Mr. T starter kit and everything now.
I don't even know.
Please.
It was like gifts for the ladies, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. So he gives me a look, and they let me redshirt. Nice. And then it just so happened that 3 guards got injured, and so like I had to like suit up. So they let me suit up, but I was just like a garbage player, practice player. I'd play like 3 minutes a game if it was close. I ain't even going in. They ain't even, like I'm one of those dudes at the end of the bench. They don't even look down at me.
Right.
I'm too far down there. So yeah, that was my college run.
At any point in time, I mean, listen, there's a lot of times when you go through some hardships and you get to a point where you're just like, yeah, maybe this isn't for me. Mm-hmm. Did you ever get to that point during those times in high school, college years where it's just like, yeah, this ain't gonna work out? Or were you still having some success on the playground?
Yeah, I was always having success at pickup basketball.
Okay.
For the most part.
Right.
I know early on I was playing with people that were like adults when I was like middle school and high school. Sometimes I got bullied or whatever, but for the most part I was having success playing against my age or even with older people, like, on a pickup level. So in my mind it was always gonna work out at some point.
Okay.
And then I just spent countless hours. I was really like a social recluse. I spent all my time playing basketball. Like, very
dedicated.
No parties, no girlfriends. Not even really like no social function hangouts. I didn't go to prom. Nothing. It was just all basketball. I was like a basketball nerd.
So there were, a lot of people in this day and age, right? A lot of young people, it's a fast climb to everything, right? We want it fast. We want it quick. Yeah. We want it, I just want to make it really quick. I want to blow up fast. But there is a gradual climb that you still had to work at. And I like the fact that you continue to work on your game. And a lot of times people don't continue to work on the game. They think I've arrived, and that's pretty much it. But it seems like throughout your career, you just constantly worked on your game.
And you know what's funny? It wasn't master planned out. Like now I'm always giving advice that I wish I would have had.
Right.
My dad was very encouraging. He would always say, hey, man, good job. We're going to bounce back. But I think it's easy for a kid to rest in the moment, too. Look, you get cut from a team. Your friends are like side-eyeing you. You don't really think you're that good. It's easy to get caught up in that moment, not knowing that, like, literally, you could bounce back next week or 2 weeks from them. Next year you could be a starter on the whatever team you got cut from. So, yeah, I think it's really easy to live in that moment. Like you said, we're in the social media, the now generation. People see like my story on YouTube. It's like fake. Like basically went viral, had 1 million followers in 1 week.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay.
So you decided to post. Was it the Spider-Man series? Is that what blew up, or what blew up?
Yes, a friend of mine actually gave me the idea of Spider-Man Basketball Episode 1. Yeah.
So it was genius, really, because if you think about Spider-Man, especially at that time, and then hooping, and then you put those two words together on YouTube, there's a little hint for you guys, right? There's a little hint for them. Like, be smart about it.
Oh, this is good social media marketing.
And then you put it up. Tell me about that story when you put it up.
Yeah, so here's what people don't know. I started my YouTube channel actually 2009, and I did it because I went broke. So we were on the ESPN TV show with AND1 for 7 years.
Okay.
And we were top of the world. We made millions of dollars. Blew it all. Blew all the money. At one point, I only had a couple $100 in my account. That same year, I started my YouTube channel to hopefully get more bookings, because what happened was AND1 was a big company. Like street ball was back in the day, street ball was like rivaling the NBA for popularity. The street ball guys who turned out to be my teammates were my idols as much as Allen Iverson and Michael Jordan were.
Wow.
Equal. So basically, that was all taken from us like instantly. And then the company got bought out by a different entity in the United States, but AND1 was in like 50 countries.
Because AND1, I remember AND1. If for younger people, you have to look up AND1 mixtape. This is before like everything. So these guys were getting together, and street ball that's what made street ball legendary. Basically, these AND1 mixtape. I had a pair of AND1s. I love those.
I love that.
And the logo was just great.
Yeah.
That dude was just on the logo for AND1 was great. But those videos, everything about that, when they came on ESPN, I wanted to watch that.
Yeah.
And there's dudes that you were playing with that legit, for whatever reason, bad luck, maybe just politics, they should have been in the league, right? At that point.
They had the talent?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was a high talent pool, for sure.
Yeah.
So that birthed my career. I just literally went and tried out as a fan.
That's what I heard.
And then, so there was reality TV had just gotten hot. And there was a show called Survivors, like the first reality TV show. So they kind of mimicked the TV show for AND1 after Survivor. And basically what it was is they had tryouts before every game for local. Anybody could come try out.
And what were you thinking?
I was thinking I was just going out there to watch my idol. I was trying to go watch a game, but then when they had the tryout, I'm like, hey, there's nothing to lose. I live AND1. I'm culturing it. So like all I do, I can't wait to go to a pickup game and like show out and get people excited. That was like my thing. So.
Right.
But I didn't think I could quite do it on that level. I didn't actually even think, AND1 was such an urban hood thing, I didn't think they would actually even sign a white guy from the suburbs. I didn't think I actually even belonged. That's what I thought.
Okay.
So not knowing that was like very marketable. It was like good business for them and a win-win for everybody. But so I just went as a fan. I tried out. I went through this whole summer-long series of elimination, the whole reality show, and ended up winning a contract. And next thing I know, my idols are my teammates.
It's crazy.
So anyway, we do the ESPN show. It's global. We go all over the world year-round. We tour like 6 to 8 months out of the year. We did that from 2003 to 2008. And then at the end of 2008, it just was gone. We didn't even get a call to re-up our contracts. It got bought out by a different company. But the thing was, it was AND1 was licensed out in 50 countries all over the world. So those international entities, they're still under the same ownership. So they want us to go tour there. They still wanted street ball. There was a high demand for me and my teammates to go play there. So I started my YouTube channel just to get bookings, just to get on their radar. So like for a couple years, I really didn't have a job, but like I would get a call, like go play in N1 Africa, go play in N1 Brazil, N1 Russia. But those checks were like very, very few and far in between. So wasn't making a lot of money. So I was really just started YouTube for bookings, and then I got viral. We had some viral content 2013.
Okay, so the kid that got cut, didn't play college ball, is now on the N1 team, going all over the world because basically he dedicated his life to basketball.
Yeah, I think it was a testament to like, what do they say? When preparation meets opportunity, success can be had. It's definitely a true story. I lived it, and it wasn't even mastermind. It's just like I just followed. Basketball literally was my passion. I was lucky to find my passion and my gift
That's good.
early, and my gift was just, it was basketball, but it's also like emulating moves. I can learn a move in a day. You know what I mean? It's just a gift. So yeah, I found that when I was in like first grade, and then by fourth grade, I started really work on the handle side of things.
And you said that you made millions of dollars and then lost it.
Yeah.
How do you blow?
Four-story condo, West LA.
Okay.
Had a Benz. But bill spend, I remember, was like.
And the haircut's got to be worth a lot too, right?
I didn't have the haircut back then.
Dude, you always had the haircut. You always had like something. You always had something going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was like a Caesar cut.
The Caesar cut. You always had the Caesar cut.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, just living above my means, check to check, thinking it would never end, because the word on the street at that time was this was going to be like the new Harlem Globetrotters, because it was more popular than the Globetrotters ever were at a certain point.
Yeah.
And then they just, nothing, you can't bank on anything being forever. This is immature. So
good.
When it ended, we were all humble, or at least I was. I can't really speak. A lot of guys don't really go public about their situation, but I know for me, I went broke. It was very humbling, but it was great. It was great. I learned a lot from it, and
you had another opportunity.
A lot about life too. Like I had to have hired security during N1 if I go anywhere. Then it went to can't afford the security, so whatever. So I remember I went to one of my brother's basketball games, and nobody recognized me. And one person he was like, "Hey, weren't you on like some basketball tournament thingy? Weren't you like, you know what I mean?"
Right.
At one point, it was like the biggest show on television.
Yeah.
And back to nobody. So fame is very fleeting, and I learned that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This generation doesn't know it as much because we have our social media outlets. We can always kind of keep touch with the fans. Like if you're gonna get canceled or end, it's like you have to mess up your own grind, whereas before it's like you had to get that opportunity.
And you got to get out there, you got to hustle. Bands and everything, just people get popular. I mean, you see brands, and brands will have like, you never heard of the brand, but you go to the page and they got like 200,000 followers, and it's kind of good in a way, but you don't still have the grind that you had to do where you have to be out there and you got to be known.
It was harder back in the day, because you had to like earn your stripes. You had to like super impress somebody to sign you to a deal, whether it was like music, whether it was acting, whether it was like our situation with basketball. Like you had to earn your way to be like, they can say like this is the guy.
Exactly.
And now everybody has their own TV channel,
pretty much,
or their own streaming station in a sense. So it's kind of just up to the person, up to the viewer to decide what's hot, which it is a blessing. It is like a lot easier now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the YouTube, let's go back to that real quick. I know we jumped ahead a little bit, but the YouTube, how did it start?
So literally with YouTube, in 2006 or 7, during N1, during our ESPN TV show, I think YouTube actually started 2004, if I'm not mistaken. By 2006 and 7, people were cutting up the ESPN TV show, and they were making full-on Professor mixes, and they were getting millions of views. And so what I was trying to do at first was I hired a friend of mine who was a great editor, like works for Microsoft now, but back in the day we were young. I had paid him like $700 a video, which was a lot for an editor nowadays, to just flood YouTube with some videos to hopefully get more booking opportunities. Didn't even start my own channel, put it on his channel. And then I think by 2009, like Google AdSense had come about, but I still didn't really know about it. So I started my own channel just so I could be in control of the narrative and try to put out as many videos as I can. I remember I drove to San Diego. This kid, he had made a bunch of fan mixes and stuff, and he actually taught me to edit. Nice. So I was editing my own videos and just doing everything solo. And then by the time 2012, 2013 came around, my friend who was really like up on tech and social, he showed me how to use a DSLR, and he was like, hey, he's like, some of these videos are getting hundreds of thousands of views, but you never really like broke mainstream, you never hit millions. He's like, we should try to go viral. We should try to do something. And he was aware of Comic-Con, how hot cosplay was, prank. So we really combined cosplay with prank with basketball.
Right, which is like the greatest mix on any social media, right?
Now, yeah, but it didn't seem like at the
Back
time.
then.
He was kind of confident they would do like 1 million views, and from me, I just thought it would be funny. Like dressing up in Spider-Man costume to me was just comedy, and I thought it would do a little bit more views than my normal videos. You know, maybe we'll get like 300, 400K on this one.
Right.
Normally getting 50 to 150K. But lo and behold, we did it, and it was funny because we just looked at a bunch of viral videos from 2012 and saw what was the best, and it was like, where can we get in? And then we did it, and then it was received as like swag. People were like, oh, this is clean. And we were like, I thought it was just silly, like funny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then we just continued to rock with that, and the channel grew.
And your most popular web series, it's the most popular web series on YouTube, correct?
Yeah.
The Spider-Man one.
Yeah, Spider-Man basketball.
I mean, everybody seen that Spider-Man one? So what are we looking at on views for that one?
That was the 400 million. You said 400 million. That was that series.
400 million. And so you are a social media influencer, like extraordinaire, basically. I mean, there's not too many people that are above what you're doing.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. I mean, I think there actually are. Shockingly, there is. I think I'm like the 1700th biggest channel on
really?
YouTube.
Okay.
So, but I mean, that's global. That's like a lot of like music channels that are ran by the label. That's a lot of companies. There's a lot of influencers. Like you said, they'd be in a different country. They got 8 million subs, and you'd be like, who is this? But I think one thing social media did for me is really open your eyes to how many people are actually in the world. You know, when you say there's 6 billion people in the world, you don't actually realize how many people that actually is. Like if you have a video, one thing I learned like even recently, last 5 years, like if you had a video get seen by 1 or 2 million people, in the mass culture, nobody really saw, like you could almost say like nobody saw that video if you have a mass culture viewpoint. So I try to go in with a broader perspective now when thinking about what videos to do.
And when you're doing the videos, have you ever thought of going different idea other than basketball? Are you it's just basketball? And do you ever get like, this is getting old? Does it ever feel like it's getting old? Like I ran out of ideas.
You know, oddly enough, it's never been more fun. But I think it's always gonna be basketball because what I learned is I tried to do lifestyle stuff. I've tried to do other things, but I never branded myself as a personality until like the last like 5 or 6 years. Sometimes I combine that with basketball. Sometimes I just do a straight interview and it might go off if I talk about hot topics.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm just known as like the basketball guy. So I try to just go all the way in with that, and we try to just package that and dress that in different themes that hopefully could reach a broader audience. For example, like we recently did Space Jam, Bugs Bunny, Space Jam basketball, IRL. And that could reach a bigger audience because a lot of people know about Looney Tunes. Or Spider-Man reached people who were just like, you just know the movie Spider-Man or whatever, and you see him playing ball, and you're like, oh, that's fun, but you might not going to be into a Professor video.
Right.
So I try to just think in terms of like broad audience, even though we still do our bread and butter, like, you know, just hoop videos or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at now.
Okay. So what's up with the glasses, man? I seen you rocking the glasses. Oh, yeah. I know everybody likes those glasses. I mean, hey. What do these glasses remind us of here? I gotta. Anybody out there? Back to the Future, right?
Back to the Future 2 is my favorite movie of all time.
So 2?
2.
Why 2? Me on 1.
Futuristic aspect. Well, they combined it with 1.
Yeah, so it goes together. Except for his girlfriend. His girlfriend wasn't the same.
True, his different girlfriend.
Which one did you like? First or second?
Part 2 is over.
No, which girl?
Oh,
We're not being religious.
They were a tie. I wasn't into either one of them.
Oh, okay. That's fair to say.
That was a tie.
So what's up with the glasses, man?
So these are the 2099 hater blockers.
Hater blockers.
Globalhooper.com. There's no haters in here, so I can take these off. But no, it's just fun. I like to be funky and make things really, like I noticed with merch, you can come out with a hoodie and a t-shirt and it can be fun.
Right.
And we're gonna do that too, but I try to do things that are like, just more fun and different and innovative. Like for example, these pants are like super reflective. If you put the flash on your phone and you took a picture or video of these, they would illuminate.
Right.
This is fun, right? This is abnormal. So I just try to do stuff that's like fun and innovative and can make you laugh a little bit. You know what I mean?
And you're cool with being who you are. I love that about you, man. The lineup, you just dress, you have your style, you have your brand. Was that always a part of you?
I think part of my journey with God was actually, it helped me be more comfortable with just owning who you are and being unique and individual. And even social media taught me that a little bit too. Is like, if you try to, a lot of people start YouTube and they try to be like somebody else. We want to be a singer, we're gonna go sing like somebody else.
Or the way every YouTube video starts, hey guys.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like, come on, stop that.
Yeah, exactly. And you can, you don't realize that when you start branding, since we're in LA, a lot of people might be on that, but if you start branding, your biggest advantage first is that you're a one of one, you're you.
It's good.
So you should own that and be yourself. And so when I've discovered that and then became more comfortable with who I am, 9-10 years ago, I try to make it even more unique. You know what I mean? Like I didn't used to have like designs in my haircut, or I didn't used to like dress super funky or whatever. So yeah, I just try to own it.
There's always something to be said for being who you are and being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
When you're young, it's very difficult to be comfortable in your own skin.
It is though, and we're all on our own journey to being more comfortable with ourselves, more self-aware.
Yeah, it's a process though. You have to find it.
Definitely.
I went through quite a few styles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get to a point where it's like, this is just me, and it's the best feeling because you're like, I really don't care what anybody else says. This is who I am. If they like it, they like it. If they don't like it, then keep it moving, right?
It's on, and that's what you don't realize. If they don't like it, the ball's in their court. That's their immaturity or insecurity or whatever. You know what I mean? So we always think like we often are influenced by them. Like, oh, they think less of me or like me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong.
Exactly.
It's like, no, the ball's in their court. That's whatever. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned my haircut, right? There's a lot of mixed reviews on that. Like some people aren't feeling it, or like, oh, he's trying to be black, or.
My pastor used to rock a haircut like that for a little bit. He used to try to rap and stuff. Yeah, my pastor Adam, he's somewhere out here.
Oh, here's the truth. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. When I first got on AND1, I was just trying to be like my teammates. They were my idols. I'm like 18 years old. They were like 30. You know what I mean? They're around 30.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was trying to be like them. So what did I do? I got a Caesar cut. They actually gave me a haircut on a commercial set. Shout out to my OG teammate, Main Event. He actually. His barber gave me a first like white guy lineup.
Nice.
At a commercial set, because they looked at my hair and they were like, "What is this?" Like,
you're like, "This is the Oregon, man."
I had no style. It was just hair. You know what I mean? So
I remember you had the pork chops, some sideburns one time too.
That was just being lazy. I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't have no style. So they were like, "We gotta do something about this. We trying to be cool." So it was my first commercial. So it gave me like a lineup or whatever, and then I just rocked with that because I was trying to be like my teammates.
Right.
And then later, that was what I was most comfortable with, so I just kind of like owned it later, and now I like it because it's so different, right? Kids today don't really do the Caesar cut, especially if you're white.
Right.
So then I put design.
You might get jumped, you know what I mean, if you're making that Caesar cut.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's the stereotype, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get the name The Professor?
So when we were on that tour, there was an MC, his name is Duke Tango, and he's like the most he's like Dick Vitale mixed with the dude that says, "Let's get ready to rumble."
Okay.
All into one. He got the most
buffer.
He's the dopest MC I've ever heard in my life. He's from Harlem. He's from the Bronx, but he did Rucker Park for years.
Okay.
Rucker Park, the mecca of street ball in Harlem.
Legendary.
He was the voice during the game, but he was dope. He'll be on the court with you. So he's responsible for giving out the most legendary street ball nicknames of all time. So he named my OG teammate Escalade. Escalade was 500 pounds, 6'9", called him Escalade. He named Skip to my Lou. NBA legend.
NBA 11, Raptors.
Main event. I mean, the list goes on and on.
AO, all those guys.
AO actually had it. That was his initials. But for me, it was because I was schooling people on the court, and I think he thought I looked like, it was just a perfect name. It was like dual purpose.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
You mentioned Escalade, and for those of you that don't know, if you Google the N1 mixtape, Escalade, big dude. I mean, 500 pounds. I don't know, how tall was he?
Escalade?
Yeah.
Oh, he's 6'9".
6'9", 500 pounds.
500 pounds.
He's dunking.
Yeah.
Had handles.
Oh, he's a beast at basketball. Later in the AND1, if people here watch AND1, like later in his career, he started to play a little bit less. He was becoming more of just like personality, kind of a coach, a spokesperson for AND1. But like when his heyday, like he was like freaky good. Like if Escalade liked structured basketball and that whole environment a little bit more, like I think he would have been in the NBA for sure. He had that talent. His brother's Mark Jackson. The
Hall of Fame,
ex-NBA
point guard,
legend,
Knicks, coach, everything. So definitely was one.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So you and Escalade was kind of a mix there. I mean, it was an odd mix, right?
Yeah.
People that are different usually connect better. But Escalade's this 6'9", 500-pound dude balling. You're the 5'10", 5'9"?
Yeah, 5'10".
5'10",
barely.
White guy, and you guys end up becoming friends.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, initially he was kind of like
best friends, right?
Yeah, he was my closest friend. Yeah. Initially he was like my mentor, because socially I didn't really connect with the guys as much because I was a kid and they were adults. Like I'm 18, but I was really like I looked like I was 12 years old, and I kind of like acted like 15 when I was 18.
Yeah.
So these dudes are adults, so. He was kind of the one that like gave me advice and kind of like took me under his wing. That's just kind of his nature. He was always down to just help people. You know what I mean? He was just a cool cat like that. So yeah, he would mentor me and give me advice like during the game, and then like social advice, how to act in certain situations. We go to public stuff like this. We had to speak in front of crowds. I was like horrified of public speaking. You know what I mean? Just a year before that, I was in speech class. I couldn't even hold my little
That's
notes
crazy.
still. I was like shaking so hard. So he helped me out with a lot of that, and then like we spent 6 to 8 months out of the year together. We just became friends. As I got older and mature, we just became like friends.
Right. And how did you come to know the Lord?
Actually, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that led up to this moment, but it was actually at his funeral when he passed away. Mark, his NBA, his brother, legendary NBA player, was actually preaching the funeral. He's like a pastor too. A lot of people don't know that. So shout out to Mark. But yeah, he did an altar call at the end of the funeral.
So Escalade died?
Escalade passed away of a heart attack in 2011.
Wow. And how did that affect you, man?
It was one of the first times I started to like really ask myself the bigger questions of life. The first time was when I went broke, you know what I mean? And like I had heard about God, I heard about Christ because I went to a Christian preschool, and then I went to that Christian high school, and we would like go to chapel, and like I had a Bible class. The extent of them, as much as I thought about it, was this. I remember one time I was sitting in Bible class, and my homie who came from a Christian family, he goes to school, so at the end of class, I was like, is Jesus real? And he looked over at me, he was like, I think so.
Wow.
And I was like, I was like, like Santa, or like, he was like, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
So that was as much as I really thought into it, to be honest, because most of the time I was like, my mind was on basketball or whatever, and I was just doing what I was supposed to do. And so this was the first time I started to ask myself second time I started to ask myself bigger questions of life. The first time was when I went broke.
I mean, there ain't two things that'll make you question life and reality more than having nothing, going broke, and death.
Yeah.
I mean, those are two things that question a lot of what's going on in your personal life.
Yeah, and that's why going broke and losing my fame for about 3 or 4 years was great for me, because I think those things are like within my calling now, like, to like have a platform, influence, do stuff like this, but they can take you away from God really easy, So for me to even receive Christ or
right,
be adherent to that, it had to be like in a down moment. So those two events were that was when like kind of like the changing point in my life.
And you gave your life to the Lord at Escalade's funeral?
At the funeral, yeah.
So Mark preached.
Yeah.
Gave an altar call.
Oh, he's an amazing pastor, by the way. But yeah.
And you just said it's time.
Yeah, it was funny. Like it was just meant to be. I didn't even question it or anything. And I would say though, like half the congregation, everybody, because the way he said is like, you want to be where my brother is in heaven today? Come down here and give your life to Jesus Christ, because apparently he did a year before he died. I didn't even know it. I think he had said it or something, but I just like, my head was in the clouds, and
right.
we were fame waving. Life was like really fast.
Yeah.
We were rock star buses half the year. So we did talk about Christ a little bit before he passed away, and he had told me Mark was a pastor, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay, like cool. Like, what are we doing for
lunch?
Yeah. Like so it was a changing point in my life.
But did you have an encounter? And I ask this because there's a lot of young people that come to church, like you went to chapel, you kind of had a sense, right?
Barely.
And there's a lot of kids that come to church, young people that come to church, and they don't really have an encounter. You know what I mean? It's just more of a because we do it. right? We go to church, we go to chapel because
just a routine. Do what you're supposed to do.
Kind of a religious thing, but did you actually have an encounter where you're just like, you got touched by God and you felt different?
Yeah, 100%. And it was all, the steps were guided too, because in the year leading up to Escalade's death, like I was actually in this church league. My old boss, who used to run this tour I was a part of after Aaron, he invited me to play in a church league. And then like I met the guy who was in charge. It was an outreach ministry, right? So each team had a leader who went to church there. So like he would invite me to church and I just went to be nice a few times. And then like, you know, it was kind of like looming in the back of my mind, Escalade, and I had a few talks or whatever. So yeah, mine was a real that was a real conversion moment for me, doing that altar call. And then like the next couple years, a real transformational moment. I don't know that everybody who went to the altar, you know how it is, like right? A lot of people went to the altar because everybody going up there, like, shoot, me too. You know, it felt like the right thing to do. But the
encounter, that's the thing that
real
always
encounter,
sits with me.
100%.
If you have that encounter, even as a young person, like it sticks with you. It sticks, and it's just not a routine of, like you said, everybody just going down there.
Yeah, I was just talking about that with my cousin actually on the way here, because he was talking about one of his friends and how he kind of treats the faith. But yeah, like, you know, Christ becomes the center of your life. Yeah.
Right. So you become a Christian, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've been saved my whole life, but I'm a trash talker on the court.
Oh, okay, me too, a little bit.
The only thing that sucks is that when you're a Christian and then you're playing in a church league or playing with other saved people, you really can't talk trash like you used to, right? I mean, things kind of change. Like, you know, you feel bad, you get a little convicted, you foul that guy, or you bag on his mom or his sister, or you say something bad, and then after you're going to church with that guy, and you're like, hey, bro, I'm sorry about yesterday.
See, I would never go there. That's like, you...
There's a few people out here that know the way I get.
You might be out of line. I don't know. No, I'm just joking. But
I better hit the altar.
For me, I never want to be the antagonist. I still remain the good guy, the protagonist. So if I talk trash, it's gonna be more lighthearted. Like one of my favorite things is to do a move on somebody, completely shake them, and then hit the shot and be like, oh, thank you, appreciate that.
Oh, you're the nice guy, trash talker. I hate those guys more sometimes.
Well, it's sarcastic. Yeah, my homie Eric Deasy, he calls it cordial disrespect. He said my trash talk is even more disrespectful because I do it in such a cordial manner. But like,
yeah, I don't. That gets me more mad. You know what I mean? Because then you like, if you talk trash to me and then I talk trash to you, then we can almost get in a fight. But if you're nice about it, then I'm like, all right, man, good shot.
Yeah, I feel like the best thing though, and I feel like even the best players, the highest level. Try to remove yourself from being emotionally caught up in trash talk. Like sometimes I do it, but very rarely. Like dude can be talk crazy to me, and I act like he ain't even in front of me. And so when you're putting in work, that's just like that irks him because he wants you to respond emotionally. But I find it's better to not really dive into it.
Right.
You know, but some people that could take them out of the game, right? So you have to be poised enough to know that you can still put in work regardless of it, and you don't really have to say anything back.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play some hoop a little bit.
Okay.
We're gonna have you go across the street. There's a few people that want to challenge you a little bit. They have I don't know what they're thinking, but I think they want to win a prize or they want to get famous on YouTube. I don't know what they want, but they want to play a little bit. What is your advice for a young hooper that thinks he can ball you up?
I would say it's a good stance to take. To be honest, I mean. Believe it or not, I've gone to an event like this. I lost a game. Like basketball is a weird game, especially if you're playing to like 3, right?
Right.
Anything could happen. I learned this early. I remember one time, one of my first years on AND1, I was playing easy on a little kid. And he was coming down the court. Everybody's like, oh, he's like 9 years old, you know what I mean? But he had crazy hands. This kid was stupid talented.
So he was you at 9 years old playing against you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd never seen this kid again, but he came down doing all these moves. They were like, oh, but I'm like, he's 9. If I block him, they're going to boo. So I kind of like hung back. I was like, oh, this is funny. He threw the ball in my head. Boom, hits me in the head. Now they lost it, right? And then by the time I kind of like snapped out, I'm like, oh, let me take the ball. By the time I get up to him, he had already launched some 3. He just chucked it up there like that. Swish. Crowd loses it. Everybody runs on the floor, and then I'm like the victim in that situation.
Wait, hold on. You ain't the victim. I think it's more God giving you a little payback, keeping you humble.
It definitely was a humility moment, but what I learned is basketball's a weird game. You should always go in there confident. Because think about it, I'm that. Right. I don't look like a hooper, you know? I mean, people regard me as that now just because of the body of work, but if you just saw me on a regular day, you wouldn't think I'd be good at basketball. Like I told you, I am nerd basketball. So for anybody who might not look like a hooper, you should still be confident. You never know. Like basketball's a weird game, especially if it's a short game.
Right.
Anybody, I go out with my homie Eric Deasy, we play 2v2, or even on 5v5 games, and like if you don't buckle down and get serious, like anybody could beat you.
Right.
Seriously.
You got to be ready.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right, man. On the Street Gospel Podcast, we have one thing we like to do, and it's called the Furious Five. So we like to ask 5 furious questions before we head out.
Sure.
All right. I always got to put on some music.
All right.
First question on the Street Gospel Furious 5. Is ball life?
No, in the sense that it pays my bills, but no, it pays my bills, constantly thinking of new ideas and content. But no, I think, I know where you're going with that. I think if you're a Christian, I think Christ should be life, right?
Sure.
That's how I view it. Yeah.
It's good. Question number 2 on the Street Gospel Podcast, Furious 5. If you were playing 3-on-3, 3v3, you can pick 2 teammates and play against 3 other dudes. Who would be your teammates and who would you be playing against?
My 2 teammates would be Shaq and Steph Curry.
Nice. And who are you playing?
Who are we playing against?
Yeah.
So it's like some dream rivals too?
Yeah.
I would say we'd play against LeBron, Durant, and Iverson.
I
was just thinking of what would be the most entertaining.
That'd be a great game. I paid to see that. Question number 3 on the Street Gospel Furious 5. Why didn't you make it to the league? NBA. Short answer.
Short answer, wasn't good enough. But also was too immature, my mentality. Like I said, I was 18 years old, thinking like a 15-year-old, looked like I was 12 years old. So by that time, people are getting scholarships to go Division I. I didn't get good enough to compete with an NBA player until my mid-20s in a workout setting. Right. I never got to do it at the highest level, but I was in the CBA. I played overseas players. I worked out with NBA players. But that's my secret, though. I can go back and forth with an NBA player. So now we go on the streets.
It's a different thing in the streets.
Yeah, but as far as making the NBA, if you don't have D1, if you didn't get to play D1 basketball or work your way overseas to play Division I pro basketball,
right,
you have no opportunity.
Right. Yeah. A little bit of politics.
Because at that time street ball has high respect right now because the NBA, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, these guys play flashy. CP3, it has like high respect because they watched and won growing up. Like Kyrie, they watched Steph Curry, they watched me when they were kids. So it has respect. But back then, it was almost looked at as like circus basketball. It was like, oh, that's like some Globetrotter stuff. That doesn't belong in the NBA.
Right.
So trying to make it was really tough. I got treated that way when I got to I played in what was the equivalent of the G League at that time. I got treated that way.
Yeah. Good one. Question number 4, for all my sneakerheads out there. If you had to wear 1 pair of shoes for the rest of your life, 1 pair for everything, church, to hooping, everything, to go out, everything, what pair of shoes would you wear?
Oh, wow.
Your go-tos for everything.
That's hard for you. You mess it up when you made it lifestyle because the shoes I wear for the best performance on the court are not going to be savvy for lifestyle.
You only can wear 1 for the rest of your life.
We would get a hold of some Nike manufacturers. We would take the Jordan 1s and we would make them feel like the Kyrie 2s.
Oh, so you want the look, but you want the comfort.
Yeah, we would take the Jordan 1s. We'd make them feel like the Kyrie 2s or make them feel like the Kobe Proto 5s.
Nice. Question number 5 on the Street Gospel Podcast, Furious 5. When you peel back all the layers of the professor, of the social media guy, of the guy with all the success, brand, and you get to the core, what will you find?
Just a regular guy.
A regular guy. Fun guy.
I think so.
That's it, man.
It's like Kawhi, fun guy.
Fun guy?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Thanks for coming out.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Honored. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Hey. Before we head out, is there anything you want to shout out?
If you guys want to keep up with me, check out YouTube, Professor Live, Instagram, TikTok @The Professor. Clothing line just dropped, globalhooper.com.
That's right.
Global Hooper 2099 collection just dropped, globalhooper.com. Appreciate you guys. That's it.
Hey, we want to thank everybody for checking out the Street Gospel Podcast. This will conclude episode number 33. How many people out there are ready to go hoop with the Professor?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Thanks for coming out, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.